Pedro from A&P-REACTS. I'm here with Jarkko from Bloodred Hourglass. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. You know, the last time we sat down to talk was when Heal was released. It seems like a long time ago. We haven't chatted since.
That's very true, my friend.
It's been a long time. Last time when we talked, around that time when Heal came out, you mentioned to me that for a band like Bloodred Hourglass, sometimes it's hard to break out because of the saturation of the market where you guys are. A few years have gone by now. Do you still feel the same way?
Well, I don't think that it's more easy these days in by any means, you know. But I'm happy that we made some progress finally by mostly by finding the right partners in business. So it helps a lot, you know.
Everybody looks forward, every band I'm sure looks forward to having a black album the way Metallica had their black album. I feel like Heal opened the doors for you guys, but perhaps Godsend will be the band's black album. What do you think?
Well, it's kind of cliche, you know, always to say that the new album is the best album from your catalog or discography, but I think on many levels, for the very first time, we managed to deliver album we are really happy. I don't see there's that big of a difference when it comes to song material, but the production of the album, I think we finally reached the level where we are really happy with it. And I'm really confident. I don't know, it remains to be seen, of course, what's the verdict from our fans and people in general, but we'll see.
The success you guys had with Heal, did that allow you to take perhaps a few more creative risks with Godsend?
We didn't really talk about it. Just, you know, we went with the flow, like we always done before in so far in our musical career, and it was the very same outcome. A&P still made most of the songs, as far as I know, with the very same way, taking a guitar in his hands and let's checking what comes out. And I don't know, man.
It's to be seen, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you feel, I felt listening to this album, there was a little bit more diversity as far as the style, the approach, the songs. You said before that perhaps that was not conscious, but now looking back, do you feel that way about this record, that there's a little bit more diversity from song to song?
Well, obviously you want to integrate new things always. You want to push yourself to the limits of what you're capable to deliver musically. And there are new elements, obviously, but I don't see the core changing much from to this album if you compare to Heal or Where the Oceans Burn. I think they still fit in our signature sound the very same way, each one of them. But yeah, I know there's a bunch of new elements, different kind of approaches maybe. But to me, it's still fairly close, the same Bloodred Hourglass as before. Maybe someone else can see the difference more easily than I can by myself, you know.
Yeah, maybe because the fact that you're in it, sometimes it's hard for you to have an outside look into what you're doing because you're so involved in it.
That's very true, and that's why it's always so hard to, you know, to make the verdict about your new stuff or album or music or anything you do in your life beforehand, before the big audience gets to see and hear it. So remains to be seen.
You talked briefly about the production and the mixing and all the work that went behind this album. I too felt that there was a huge leap from Heal to this one as far as the quality of the mixing and production. What changed for you guys?
Not much, actually. The only big change in the production chain was actually we had this Swedish guy, Mr. Henrik Ud, who did the mixing and mastering of the album. But you know, all the rest, like recording, pre-production, everything, it was the very same thing as it was on those two previous albums, Where the Oceans Burn and Heal. We still wanted to use Juho Raiha and Sound Spiral Audio for the recording of the album, and we worked the very same way. Another different factor was we recorded the drums in Petrak Studios in Finland, which they have a big room, so you can get a nice airy sound for the drums over there. That's why it's really popular, especially for the drum recordings. But I don't know, and after all, it all came down to the budget, you know. These things I mentioned, they were possible for us because we found the right partners with Heels. So now that we know the cost and what we can achieve with the production like this, it's going to be a lot easier in the future for us, for sure.
Looking at this album, Godsend, is not out yet, but it's just around the corner. You guys already played some live shows where you feature some of the songs from the new record. What has been the fan reaction to those new tracks?
Well, I think in general, you know, looking in my computer, in general, the reception and the feedback for Waves of Black, the first single we put out a few weeks ago, that was phenomenal. People really seem to like that one, and it worked really well. We played it live, now only a few shows, but yeah, it's been a killer live song also. And we've also done a few other songs from Godsend as well. Last time it was last weekend when we played the Circus, and then our home city gig here in Mikkeli, and they seem to like it, so that's a good sign for sure.
The feedback has been positive.
It's been positive, yeah, definitely.
How was the show at Circus? That was a big show for you guys.
It was a big show. It was a great show. I really enjoyed that one because the venue it's big for us. The stage is pretty huge for an indoor venue, and I think we really fit on a bit bigger stage because of the movement and energy we always try to bring there. So I really enjoyed the crowd. It was one of the greatest shows for us for sure so far. So I was super happy to do that.
You guys also had a huge tour with Evergreat all across Europe. As you look back at that tour, what are the things that you take away, the experiences that you take away to prepare you guys for the next tours that you guys embark on?
Well, that's gonna be a tough one because you know, the Evergreat tour was something out of this world. Obviously, it was the very first tour for us. We've never done a nightliner tour before, but it was the chemistry in the bus. We had 22 guys in the same bus. It was just something completely out of this world. Like each and every one of those guys, we just became a family. Like after the first night there, it was unreal, and I can't imagine us ever having the same kind of experience. Well, first time, it's always the first time in everything, but there was something really special. So after that tour, I think all we can do is just, you know, prepare for the worst, maybe.
Like you set the bar really high, so like there's no way to attain.
We actually did, because we just had so much fun on that tour with the whole group. It was just unreal, you know. And I really enjoyed the tour. It was a barrel of laughs, and apparently the Evergreat guys also shared the same vision that we did a good job there, and that was kind of felt like a once in a lifetime thing. Even though I hope and know there are more tours to come in the future also. So
as you look at that tour not only was your first experience with a huge tour across Europe, but I'm sure it also opens eyes to the band because you guys get a lot more exposure to new fans. Do you feel like a tour like this will allow you guys to push forward, getting into bigger slots as far as festivals are concerned, and perhaps even helping you guys book bigger tours?
Well, it definitely helps, we were a bit worried about if we are going to play to an audience that's going to be a bit off from our genre. After all, we're all still melodic death metal, and Evergreat is a bit more progressive, maybe a bit lighter, clean vocals only, after all. But people seem to like us very much on that tour also, and we created a lot of new contacts. Obviously, it should, and I'm sure it will help on many levels. And like I said, it's the first time for everything, and that was the first time we went to many countries in Central Europe. So now the game is kind of open for us. It will be a lot easier in the future for sure.
You guys have played in a lot of places. I mean, like, even though knowing this tour, you went to places you hadn't been before. You guys have played in Japan. You guys played in Germany. You guys have played in a lot of different places. As you look at what you haven't played yet, what is the one place you haven't played that you would love to play?
Well, obviously it has to be North America, if you ask me. And hopefully we can make that happen as soon as possible, because the album is coming out over there, also overseas in physical form also. So yeah, I think it has to be that one. Australia would be awesome. I actually just checked out some Spotify statistics from our artist profile, and there are quite a few listeners over there, but it's a long way from home. So
yeah, and the place is huge. I mean, it's like from city to city is massive amount of traveling time.
Yep, that's very true. But we've had a few inbox messages via Facebook when you guys are coming over, but I don't see that happening in the super near future. We'll see, but hopefully we can work out something with North America, especially. That would be super cool.
Yeah, that would be amazing to have you guys come to a North American tour. I think the audience here in North America is starting to open up more towards the style that you guys play, because I see that from all the bands that are coming over and the audience responses. As you look down at the album release date, do you guys have any plans, short-term plans, following the album release?
Well, we played a few festival shows here in Finland. Then we have the Rock Hearts Festival in Germany, and currently our calendar will end in August. We will play the Bloodstock Festival, which is our first ever show in UK. So yeah, we have plans for the rest of the year, obviously, but there's nothing I can talk about yet or mention yet. So we'll see. We obviously try to keep ourselves as busy as possible on gig wise, but the only thing I know for sure is that we are not going to go to studio to record the next album this year.
I would be extremely shocked if that happened.
Yeah.
I have one more question for you. Normally, I'm the one that sits down and does the album reviews and checks out the albums and I post my thoughts and my ideas about the records. But now let's put you on the hot seat. If you had to give the viewers at home a reason to go pick up Godsend, what would you tell them it's the main reason why they should pick up Godsend?
That's a really good question, but the way I see it, I think it's definitely one of the best representations of melodic death metal in a more modern package. Our signature sound, there's a lot of old school involved. There's a lot of there's a lot of melodic death metal in it, but the way I think we succeeded on Godsend the best was pushing all the fresh and new elements and sounds, even some metalcore stuff. There's so much packed in the same package, and it sounds fresh. It sounds, to me, it sounds something I would love to come across somewhere. You know, if someone threw me an album like Godsend, I would be stoked for sure. I want to find a band like Bloodred Hourglass from somewhere. You know, I think there's a reason enough in that comment.
Well, thank you very much for your time today. I really appreciate it. Best of luck with the album release. Godsend is an amazing record. I felt listening to it that it never gets old. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't become repetitive. It doesn't get old. Every time you listen to it, you feel like you're listening to it for the first time. And I think that is a sign of a great record.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to hear that.
No problem. Take care.
Cheers.